I'm Bruce Buffer. It's time for the Anthony Gorgano Show!
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. You know, there's certain games that get you a pick-me-up, man. And last night was a relief and a huge pick-me-up. Well, good morning. This is the Anthony Gargano Show. We are presented by TrueMark Financial Credit Union. Go to TrueMark.com/PHLY to find the credit union difference right here. So, the way it started last night, and it was just white-knuckle playoff preview. It had that October field. The Phillies lead shrunk to 5. All of a sudden, Nola dancing like through raindrops, right? Out of trouble, walking a tightrope. Arica, who later would stare down Bryce Harper, goes yard and just staring down Bryce. Braves up 2-0. And that was it. I got my buddy Toot sent me over the jump off the building emoji meme. Like he just rattled. Oh, there it is. It's over. See? I'm done. 2-0. And you're like, oh my God. And then Max Fried was dealing. They were struggling to get anything started. Of all people, who has the big hit? Rojas with a big double. And then they played, I thought, terrific baseball, right? So it's second and third. What does Schwarber do? Exactly what you needed him to do. Pulls the ball to the right side. Run scores. Runner comes over to third. And then Turner, fly ball. You tie the game. That was big. And then the next thing you know, it's a battle of the pens. And the Phillies bullpen looked really good yesterday. Hoffman, 2/3 clean. Strahm, a clean inning with a strikeout, looked dominant. Kerkering, clean inning with a strikeout. Estevez got himself a little trouble. But there it was at the end. He gets the ground ball, and I'm looking at Whit Merrifield, and I'm like, oh, no, he's not going to do it, right? Because I had a premonition that sticking Whit Merrifield, who did nothing here, who's a good ball player, toward the end of his career, obviously, but who did nothing here, I thought for sure that he was going to sting him. And he had the triple the other night, and then here he is last night, the winning run on second, the tying run on third, 2 outs, and then he grounded out to Bryce to end the game. Marsh comes up with the big pinch hit, so that was a big deal. You break through in the 8th inning, and, it was nice. Wilson, in fact, Todd Zalecki yesterday brought up Wilson. Wilson, 2 hits yesterday. He even said, he goes, I would put him in a lineup. And Todd was right. He delivered 2 hits yesterday, including the double that where he went up scoring on Marsh's sac fly, which was the shot. So Phillies eke out a 3-2 win. And I got to tell you, that did wonders. That was one of those games where it's so much better that you won than not losing. Sometimes not losing can be better than winning. And I know it sounds ridiculous because it's the same result, but the fact they didn't lose that game, because think about it for a second. Think about how much different our morning would have started if they had lost that game. We would have been walking around here shivering, right? Nerves. They would have been 4 up on Atlanta, fallen further back from the Dodgers and Milwaukee. And it would have been one of those, oh my God, we would have been talking about it. Is this going to be a free fall? Is this going to be 10-1? If they would have lost both those games when you had Wheeler and Nola going, that was just a exhale. That was a big moment last night to win that game. Look, we can feel it, right? The weather's turning. It's a little cooler at night. You're starting to feel it. And that was a playoff game. That, like, those 2 games of the series, Wheeler pitched the gem, you lose. Both those games felt like playoffs. So to honor it, coming up at 10 o'clock, Bowa Damas will join us. That's right, the great Larry Bowa, to talk Fightins. Coming up at 9:20, we'll have our training camp report. The Eagles have broken up training camp. That's it. Training camp is over. Training camp 2024 over. Walkthroughs, closed walkthroughs the next 2 days. And then the final preseason game. And then there it is. It's on. Roster cuts. And let's look ahead to Brazil. So that's where we're at. So we got a lot of stuff for you today. Going to introduce you to my people. JP, John Zapata.
Buenos dias.
VG. Violations, Greg. You guys are all down in the Phillies. I like it.
We called in each other, said, hey, let's match today.
Yeah. We know some wacko is going to be wearing Big Ten gear, so we'll wear Philly stuff.
We got to start a QB.
I mean,
I can't.
It's week 0. Let's get the Big Ten gear out.
What can I tell you? What can I tell you? It's football season, boys. Let's go. Let's look at last night. Last night was one of these games that you cannot lose. You cannot lose. Being on the other side of it, like if you think about what would have happened, what the mindset of the Delaware Valley would have been had they lost that game, that would have been a big, big deal.
Well, Estevez was struggling a little bit, and I was at the pub last night. The pub keeper, as it was looking rough, I was like, oh, man, here we go. Here comes some heartbreak, maybe. He's like, is it heartbreak or will it be resignation?
Like here you guys are, right? So you right away, you're expecting the worst. You're a curmudgeon. You are a Philadelphia just curmudgeon. Like, that's what you are. You are the old curmudgeon that is like, here it is.
You act like
here it is.
You act like they're on a 30-game winning streak, and I'm expecting something bad to happen.
Well,
everyone was nervous.
Right.
Everyone was nervous.
Here's heartbreak. I was nervous. I'm not going to lie to you. I was out. My father was in town, and we wanted to get a bite to eat. And we're at the bar.
Nice.
Right? And we're watching the game at the bar. And we're going, everybody's locked in. It's ninth inning, right? Like the whole thing. And, quietly in my mind, I'm thinking about, it's freaking with Merrifield. This bastard better not come through. And so when he ground ball to first, Bryce smothers it. It's like, oh my God.
Wasn't the cleanest play at first.
No, but it doesn't matter.
It's like a little league smother.
I know.
Do what you got to do.
Dude. See,
don't let it
don't
let it get behind you.
He's even criticizing Harper for making the play.
Come on, man.
Did you call him a bum too?
He's a bum. You're such a freaking curmudgeon.
That's a 12-year-old smother play. Come on.
Dude, they won that game.
Yeah,
that was a big game. Because if they lost, your ass would have been walking the tightrope to the Ben Franklin Bridge around the corner from here.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm on the other side. It was a nice win. It didn't feel like an impressive win. The bullpen looked good. Estevez, so last night we were talking. He's never really played in meaningful games.
No.
So he might be a little tight in these situations.
Oh, dude.
He's not coming out throwing the heat and what we expected when he came. But a little rocky.
I hate deadline bullpen arms.
A little bit, but to your point, let's examine this.
Yeah.
To your point, you are not impressed with the win. My point is, sometimes you just can't lose. The loss is not losing is better than the win. That's a real thing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And listen, you want to go in and you want to win 8-2, of course. But the first 2 games of that series felt like playoffs. It felt like, hey, we got to get on base, right? We got to. Here's the thing that was impressive. Everybody says, all the Phillies do is got to hit home runs. All they do is hit home runs. Well, second, what do they do? second and third, you get the ground ball from Schwarber, you move the runner, you score the run, and then you get the sack fly from Turner. That's baseball.
Small
That's
ball,
actually
baby.
playoff baseball.
Yeah, but that's what we expect from the bottom of the lineup, not the top of the lineup. Right?
No.
Yeah.
I expect to tie the game. Wait, that's unrealistic. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about-
you play good baseball.
You're not concerned our batters 1 through 6 were 1 of 20 yesterday? That's
Listen,
great. That's not great.
In a play, no, duh, really?
Yeah.
No, the point is that they were able to eke out the runs. Like, that's baseball. Baseball playoff situation is to do those little things that'll help you score. When you're scuffling, right? No doubt, right? Obviously, they were 0 for 12 in game 1. And yesterday, they were scuffling again. But they were able to get the runs home. That's my point, is like, you were able to play baseball to tie the game.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to be excited.
I-
my $300 million guy hit a sack fly. Come on.
It's baseball, dude. Like, listen.
He's 0 for 4.
Okay. So then,
With a sack
and
fly.
what's going to happen is, so Saturday against Kansas City, he's going to hit 2 bombs. Oh, sure bomb. Do you know that doesn't happen all the time? Like, you don't understand the sport. You didn't just wake up and start watching it.
I know. I mean,
it's what it is.
yeah. They squeaked one out last night.
They won a playoff type of game, which
It's
they
not a
were
playoff
down.
game. This is a team that's a shell.
They were
the
down.
Braves are a shell of
They
themselves.
were
and they're
down
7 games back.
2-0. They were down 2-0.
I know, but you act like they're playing the Dodgers. I mean,
I'm not acting like they're playing on the road, and they're in the middle of a dicey situation.
they should be destroying this team. This Braves team is so mediocre.
Well, VG Orlando Garcia thought it was a playoff game himself after staring down.
Yeah,
Mr.
no one
Harper.
even paid attention to that guy.
That was
I don't
so
think if it
funny.
wasn't for the replay, no one even knew that he did that. No one paid attention to that guy.
That was such a funny moment. Are you serious?
Dude,
August,
it's been
you lose
driving
a
him
game?
crazy since last year, that moment.
I never thought I'd do this. Skeeves, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
So I got one guy here
Yeah.
who is unimpressed,
Yeah.
right? In fact, you would think they lost the game
Yeah.
by his demeanor.
Definitely.
And my other boy is talking about Arcia.
Not a boy.
I don't know where their heads are at right now. They won. Come on.
They want to get, like, if they had
I'm
lost,
happy they won.
like if they had lost, could you
Oh.
imagine what the outcry would have been?
Chaos.
Right.
Oh, it would have been
Could
horrible.
you imagine what the guy with the goatee would have been like today had they lost that game?
Oh, you think he's a curmudgeon right now?
Yeah.
Oh, he would have been worse.
Yeah.
1 of 20. 1 through 6 batters.
They won. They won the game.
They did.
They won the game.
They did.
Like
But
here's the
sometimes
thing.
it's how you win, and I
Sometimes,
know-
no, not last night. No way, dude. It's not about how you won the game last night. It's the fact that you won the game is how it was. When you're in the middle of this thing, you can't let it slip and get out of hand. And if they lost last night, that's a slide. That's a super slide. All of a sudden, the lead's 4. That's I completely disagree. You're absolutely wrong. Last night is about winning the game, no matter how you are in the middle of, hey, they're not hitting. We know they're not hitting. They were able to scratch out enough runs to win the game.
Yep. You're right.
It's the Braves. We're not talking about the Nationals here. It's still a good team, and you beat them.
The Braves are not a good team right now.
I know they're hurt,
That
but-
lineup is they got like 4 starters.
Listen, are they missing Austin Riley? Yeah. All right. They're not. That's not a bad team. So I don't. They're missing Acuna.
Well managed,
I
too.
get it. But look, it's in Atlanta. They're still chasing you. They're in second place. Just win the freaking game. That's all we're talking about. Is just winning the game. Sometimes you can't be greedy. Like yeah, I know you wanted 8-2.
I don't
right?
want it. Come on, you put words in my mouth. I want a nice solid 4 or 5. I want my guys who we need to do stuff other than his
Okay,
sack
well,
flies.
but I disagree there because listen, sometimes when you're in the middle of something, you just need to get the run home. You need to do the right thing for your baseball. So you shorten your swing, you make contact. Let's ask Larry Bowa when he calls up.
Larry Bowa's not going to rip the guys.
No, well, it's not ripping the guys. What do you want? If you're not going, if you're not in Schwarber mode, and it's you want to get the run home because if he struck out in that moment, then he deserves to get killed. But he didn't strike out. Got the run home and moved the other runner over. And Turner didn't strike out or pop up, he got you a sac fly. You tied the game. You're able to take off the pressure.
Don't worry, VG. Tonight I'm going to swallow up.
It's a win. It didn't feel like a good win to me. Am I glad
You're not
they
gonna
win
win with them today, cuz.
Absolutely. Am I excited about the win? No.
It's not about being excited. It's about not, again, what was my lead? My lead to the show is sometimes it's about not losing. And that was not losing.
Yeah, I don't like being in that place.
Okay, well, it's called sports. And sometimes you have to be in that place. Like
This game doesn't even matter. We're not a kickoff yet. I mean, it's not playoff season yet.
We got 15 days for the Birds?
Yeah. I want crooked numbers. I want my top 6 to be doing something.
Were you impressed with the bullpen, VG?
Yes, bullpen.
There we go.
Great showing by the bullpen.
Got something
Finally,
out of 'em.
that's the most impressive thing about last night was the bullpen for me.
Yeah, I you know what's interesting is that
And Nola
this
looked
is
good.
going to be it's funny you said that because
We thought.
I thought he was. I thought he was dancing through raindrops.
Yeah, but he did all right.
I mean, well,
he worked
escaped.
his way. Yeah.
He escaped.
He didn't escape. He worked his way through, man.
Yeah, he escaped. And by the way, he threw a lot of pitches, and it wasn't he didn't implode, which is good, but 5 1/3, 8 hits is not good.
2 earned runs. You know.
Well, yeah, it's called escaping. But 5 1/3, 8 hits. I'm confused. You're glowing over Nola.
And glowing over Nola. I thought he had a nice. I thought he had a nice.
I thought Strom came in and
bullpen was fantastic.
Great.
Orion,
Hoffman felt fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, that was great. All right, lots to get to. I did not expect the first segment to go like that. I'll tell you that.
Good morning, everyone.
I'm on edge, man. I had a rough day with traffic and the commute today.
You got to just go sip your tea. All right, take a gummy. Do something. All right,
my
sit in
chamomile
the corner, drink your tea with a gummy. All right, that's that. Let's talk about Dr. Andy Cohen. That's right, Sleep Healthy PA. They are committed to helping Philadelphia stop the snore. That's what Dr. Andy does. So Dr. Andy is a trained dentist. And the beauty of Dr. Andy is he's a great soul. He was actually with his friend. His friend had cancer and was going through treatment, so he was staying with him, kind of helping him. And Dr. Andy snored himself. So he realized he was keeping up his buddy. And he's like, damn, I got to do something. So on himself, he invented this contraption to stop him from snoring. And he realized that, you know what, a lot of it has to do with your teeth, and a lot of it has to do with your mouth. So as a trained dentist, he created these dental appliances that help open your passageways, to open your airways. He uses laser therapy. He is a brilliant guy, and he's going to help you cure your sleep apnea without a CPAP, without some of these crazy kind of fixes for it. He's got you covered, all right? You got to go see Dr. Andy Cohen. He's board certified in sleep disorders. He is a great guy. You're going to love him. And you're going to actually just completely feel differently because you'll be able to sleep, restful sleep. And you won't wake up like VG. It'll be fantastic. Dr. Andy Cohen right now. It's a 2-hour initial exam split into 2 sessions. All right. You'll review the results for him. He's going to give you all the recommendations. Give him a shout, 215-337-2501, 215-337-2501, sleephealthypa.com. That's right, sleephealthypa.com.
All right, cuz, I love it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about our friends over at TrueMark Financial. I know we all love managing the payroll of all our Philly sports teams, as VG's bringing up our payroll for the Phils here. Well, ladies and gents, let's manage our own finances here. I know it's a touchy subject in today's day and age. I don't know what to talk about financing, but making sure you manage your money is extremely important. And that's what TrueMark is here for. They're here to make it easier for you to manage all your money with their new money management tools, ladies and gents. You can manage, and family finances include budgeting for kids' sports leagues. Guys, budgeting is so big. And also, while we're talking about that, involving your kids in financial responsibility and these financial discussions as well is so big. And you can start at an early age. I'll tell you right now, I wish I would have had those conversations at a young age. So guys, get that started now, and TrueMark Financial will be able to help you out with that. And you can always manage all your finances. Look, we all been there, right? A nice little weekend out in town. You go to get a couple drinks, a bite to eat. You go to a game or some type of event. And then the weekend's over, and you're like, well, how the hell did I just spend $1,500 this weekend? Well, with TrueMark Financial and their money management tools, they will break it down in categories and tell you where your money actually went. And I think that's very helpful. So you guys can avoid starting to do any of that. And we've all been to large sporting events, right? Or whether it be down at the stadiums or we're going to the bars or whatnot, and you happen to lose your debit or credit card. It's that mini heart attack that nobody wants. Well, with their mobile banking app, you can actually lock that card. It's super easy, and it eases all the stress for you. And that's all through their mobile banking app. TrueMark Financial is federally insured by the NCUA, is an equal opportunity lender. And if you would like some more information on TrueMark Financial, ladies and gents, you can go to truemark.com/PHLY, or they have 24 branches in the area. You can walk in. They can answer any questions you may be having. But guys, get your credit union career started here today with TrueMark Financial. And thank you to our friends over at TrueMark Financial, cuz.
All right, JP, we appreciate it. And time now for our training camp report. Here he is, Zachariah. Countdown is on, by the way, for Zach's book. Cannot wait for your book to come out. Tell people about it before we get started.
Yeah.
Oh, look at it. Where's his audio? Zach. You're muted, Zach. Zach, you're muted. Try us. No.
You got me?
There we go.
You got me. All right. Baby. Sorry about that.
That's all right. You're excited. Let me see the book again.
The book's called The Franchise, Philadelphia Eagles, A Curated History of the Birds. And it comes out September 24th. It takes readers through the past 25 years of the Eagles, the executives, the coaches, the quarterbacks, the stars, the icons, some of the great moments during that period. So it was a fun book to write. I look forward to people reading it.
I cannot wait for it. In fact, every Eagle fan should get this book. This is a great effort. By the way, this is the best 25 years of the franchise. When you think about it, the last 25 years have been epic. Jeffrey Lurie, and he took a lot of guff, but Jeffrey Lurie did what he said he was going to do, which was make the Eagles a gold standard. And they have been one of the gold franchises of the NFL.
Yeah, I spoke to Jeffrey Lurie quite a bit for this book, and when or for a long time for this book, and when he kind of went through these 25 years, it occurred to him just how much success there had been during this period. There were a few minor blips in there, but for the most part, under 4 different head coaches here, they've made the playoffs. They've been competitive. They made Super Bowls under 3 of these coaches. So we'll see what happens this year.
All right. Well, let's talk about this year. Training camp wrapped, right? So they have closed walkthroughs the next 2 days before the last preseason game on Saturday. So let's look back at training camp. So give me your 3 stars of training camp.
Well, I would go Jalen Hurts, which seems obvious, but because of the way he looked in the spring to the way he looked this summer, there was a clear difference. I think this past week it kind of slowed down a bit. He did not make as many of the wow plays, but still efficient. They need to work on pressure. That was a problem last year. You see that again now, but I think overall Jalen had a really strong summer. I would go A.J. Brown / Devontae Smith. I'm going to combine them both because they've been money every day. You take for granted how good these 2 wide receivers are. And there are days in practice where that slant to A.J. is automatic. And then, the out to AJ is automatic. And Devontae is just so smooth with the way he plays. He makes plays downfield. He makes contested catches. So I'll kind of combine those two together because I need to get a defensive guy in here. And I'll say Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter's consistently been in the backfield. There's no sacks per se during training camp, but there are times when he's just right in Jalen's face. And you saw it in the Patriots joint practice as well. He is the centerpiece of this defense. As long as he stays healthy, he's going to have a huge year.
That's music to my ears, because I cannot wait for a Jalen Carter. I think I agree with you. I think he has a monster year. I think Fangio will use him as a toy, right? Match him up against the weakest link on the opposite O line, and I think he's a game wrecker, man. You brought it up the other day about him blowing up run plays too. There's going to be a handful of times where he'll time the snap count and he'll be in the backfield.
You're absolutely right, and he's going to get a lot of attention from opposing offensive lines. He knows that. I was speaking to him yesterday. He says it's been like that his whole life, right? It was like that in Pop Warner. It was like that in high school, like that at Georgia. But just his physical gifts are apparent. But I also think he has a better understanding of the position. He said he's in better shape. So there's a lot to like with Jalen going into this year.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I'm thrilled by all that. Now, give me three guys that you were disappointing, that you expected more.
Sure. I'll start with Anaya Smith, the 5th-round pick, because I thought going into camp he was going to have a chance to really, to be the third wide receiver. And I don't even know if he's going to make the team. If I put my 53 together right now, Anaya Smith would not be on it. And I'm going to have a 53 up on allphly.com on Monday, but he would not be on it. We'll see what happens in Saturday's game. He has not taken a step, and the reality is he didn't have prolific production at Texas A&M. He doesn't have great measurables, right? So what you need to see from him is on the field. You need to see a difference, and he hasn't really made a difference there. I would go Tyler Steen. Now, I thought that job was open more so than kind of they made it seem. I think they were looking for potential replacements in the draft. And so the fact that they put Mekhi Becton there early in camp shows you this was wide open. But Steen did have a chance to win the job. And I know there was injury there, but I think that's a bit of a disappointment. And then I would probably go with they cut CJ Uzomah yesterday. That was a guy I thought could be their number 2 tight end. And he just didn't have it this summer. So CJ Uzomah is one guy I would go with there. So those would be kind of the 3 pointing down this summer. Oh, and then I'll say Kenny Pickett because Pickett's been inconsistent, and I get it. He's not playing with he's not playing with AJ and Devontae, and there's a rotating cast in front of him in terms of skill guys that factors in to backup quarterback evaluations. I just don't think he's been consistent throwing the ball, and you wanted to see more from your number 2 quarterback.
What's their tight end situation look like?
Yeah, that's a spot that if you're saying where are they going to look to add, I think tight end is definitely that position. Grant Calcaterra is the number 2 tight end. Now, I should point out Dallas Goedert missed practice yesterday with an oblique injury. My sense is this isn't serious. He was on the sideline watching practice. But behind Goedert, and Goddard's missed time throughout these past few years, behind him there are a lot of questions. Grant Calcaterra is a good pass-catching player, but I don't know if you feel comfortable with him as stepping up into the number 1 role. The third best tight end this summer has been E.J. Jenkins. And E.J. Jenkins is kind of like a journeyman. He does have some skill, but that's a spot where I think the Eagles should look to add, whether it's via trade before the cutdown day or whether it's the waiver wire. But I would be surprised if there's not a new tight end on the 53 by the time they go to Brazil.
And another receiver?
Yeah, now that's a spot that they might say they can get by a bit. They have bodies there. They have more bodies there than at tight end. But I do think Howie's going to look at wide receiver, and I think Howie will look at safety depth as well, too. because that's a big question mark here. Avonte Maddox he's kind of your top back up there. They're going to get Sidney Brown back eventually. That helps, and it could be sooner than later. They have a decision to make with, the PUP list there. But I think wide receiver, safety would be next after tight end.
So let's look at the defensive backfield. The corners, we know the depth that they have in cornerback. How does this shape out? And is DeJean, are they going to play him on the outside? They're going to play him inside? Like, what are you looking at? I guess we'll start inside and then move out if you can. But, I mean, how does it play out with Rodgers? How do you kind of look at the numbers there?
Well, first off, with DeJean, I'll say this. He's going to play Saturday. So if you're looking for a reason to watch the game, because you're not going to see the guy Saturday, Cooper DeJean's the reason to watch the game. It's his first playing football since November, or playing in a game since November. So that's going to be intriguing. I expect him to play DeJean mainly on the inside. He has gotten some work on the outside. They evaluate him as an outside guy, but they have more depth on the outside than the inside. So my guess is most of DeJean's work will be in the slot this year. As far as how this shakes out, I'm expecting Quinyon Mitchell to be a starter this season on the outside, and then until he's ready, I would expect him to bounce in. But when DeJean's ready, when they feel comfortable with him, I would expect Mitchell to be every snap on the outside with DeJean inside, and then Slay opposite Mitchell, obviously. Before DeJean's ready, it's going to be Ringo or Isaiah Rodgers on the outside when they're in nickel. I think Ringo's had a better camp than Rodgers. Rodgers has been the first one up each day during these past 2-3 weeks. If you're going based on that, you would say Rodgers. Rodgers is smaller than Ringo. He's better at making plays on the ball. I like Ringo's size speed combination. Now, he was beat deep by Devontae yesterday, but I think overall he's mainly kept things in front of him. And I just think that the development curve is there for PHLY, that if you get him snaps, he'll be better week 3 than he is week 1. He'll be better week 6 than he is week 3.
Do you, because it's interesting because of the numbers, do you think they'll make a trade like that? I mean, they do have this. I mean, Rodgers would be the guy that you could move.
Yeah, that's a good point, because they do have depth there. If I were a GM on a different team, I'd be calling about Eli Ricks. Eli Ricks is a good player.
Ricks, yeah.
And Eli Ricks in yesterday's practice had an interception, had an impressive pass breakup, second-year player, has the size, has legit ball skills. Last year, the Eagles even played him in the slot. I don't know if that's the best role for him, but I think he's a good player. And
I like Ricks a ton. Yeah.
He's kind of buried right now. He's their 5th corner. I don't think the Eagles will cut him. There's just too much talent and upside at an important position to cut him. But if I were a team that needs cornerback help, I'd be calling Howie right now about Eli Ricks.
Yeah, you're spot on. Hey, when do they start the whole Brazil prep? Right, and do you know their schedule yet? Have they released when they're leaving?
Yeah, so they haven't released it, but I have a good sense of it. Is that so? Obviously, the game's Saturday. Everything from Sunday to Tuesday is about getting the roster to 53. Okay. Now the coaches might be at the Brazil prep, but as far as like players out there, you're going to start to see that in earnest next Wednesday. So they'll be on the practice field Wednesday with their 53, with their practice squad probably in place by then, and you'll probably have a good 2-3 days of practice during the week, and then you just kind of move things up 2 days. So my guess is they're back on the practice field Sunday of Labor Day weekend. You got Sunday, Monday, Tuesday there. They fly out to Brazil on Wednesday. Then the game's Friday. They do have a walkthrough in Brazil, which they have on Thursday before the game. I'll be down there, and I'll have all the information for everyone from that walkthrough. They'll be in the stadium in Brazil on Thursday, game Friday night.
Yeah, man, I can't believe it. Brazil. Man, it's like so close. We're so close.
We are.
We're close, man. This is exciting.
Hey, Zach, I was reading yesterday. Jalen didn't have his greatest practice yesterday. Is that right? According to Jeff McLean's summary, he said he thought Jalen was holding the ball too long. He took some sacks. He was slow to go through his progressions. Did you see the same kind of thing out of Jalen?
Yeah, I did think he was holding the ball long. We have something up on allphly.com going through practice, and I said, yeah, I thought he was holding the ball a little too long at times. I think it was more based on the coverage and the pressure. But this has been during the past week. You've seen that. He threw his first interception at camp yesterday. Darius Slay kind of baited him into a throw. He threw across. He was under pressure. In a game, it might have been a sack from Bryce Huff. Bryce Huff was in his face. And he throws across the middle to Paris Campbell, and Slay steps in front of it. The first pick in camp. I didn't think Hurts had his best day yesterday. I thought there was a nice throw down the left sideline to Devontae Smith. Well placed. There was a real impressive throw to Kenny Gainwell, touchdown pass, corner of the end zone. But no, Jeff's right there, and that's the same thing I saw in that. I thought he was holding the ball too long, and that's something I'm watching closely here because, like I said to the first question about kind of the top three in camp, I thought Jalen was lights out really those first 2-3 weeks. I think that the defense has gotten the better of the offense this past week plus.
Yeah.
If they keep Eli Ricks, does Job is he cut? Can they keep both of those guys?
It's a good question because they'd have to go real deep at corner to keep both of them. I don't think Job makes the 53, but Job is a valuable special teams player. He was a key contributor there. I don't think they would keep him for his play at corner. Last year he was the top guy on the outside. The Eagles added 3 corners this offseason, really, right? If you include Isaiah Rodgers in there. So I think that goes to show you they felt a need to upgrade there. So if they keep Job on the 53, it's because of what he does on special teams.
Hey, and let me ask you a question about, since we've wrapped training camp, that portion of the preseason. Is there anything that you didn't see that you wanted to see during this training camp?
Yeah, so it's interesting you brought that up. I didn't see enough takeaways, and now there's 2 ways to look at this. Is Jalen taking care of the ball? But I think back to camp, especially 2 years ago, 2022. They were sworn that defense was all over the place in terms of especially against the 2s and the 3s, picking off passes. And I remember talking to Jonathan Gannon, and he insisted like this is a matter of coaching. I don't know if it's a matter of coaching, but it was such an emphasis. And I asked Vic Fangio this about 2 weeks ago now, and Vic said they needed to do a better job taking away the ball. So I think the Patriots week was encouraging there. They had 2 interceptions in that practice, Trot Jr. having one of them. Then Avonte Maddox has the pick in the game. But I didn't see enough takeaways there. And, CJ Gardner-Johnson, he was so good at that in 2022, right? He had 6 picks in 10 weeks or so, 11 weeks. I think I'm expecting to see more plays on the ball there. I would say for the first few weeks of camp, I didn't see enough from the pass rush. I think for sure they've definitely picked that up.
There goes your takeaways right there, because it all begins with pass rush.
Yes, for sure. They've picked that up during the past week. And like I said, Jalen's been under duress during the past week. And that's where the big question with this offense is going to be how they fare against the blitz. Hot routes. Lane Johnson was talking about this yesterday. Lane said this is a big emphasis. I agree it's an emphasis, but I want to see how they handle it, because I don't think it was like something that was on display against the Patriots.
Yeah, that was my next question, was how much did they work on the blitz that you saw? Because everything's going to be about that to me, right? Like if Jalen had a great, we know if the pocket's clean, he's money, right? But we saw DCs last year flip the script. They're like, you know what? They were afraid to blitz him 2 years ago in 22. Then last year they went at him, and there was a lot more pressure. And that's where his eyes were not downfield. And this is, to me, him conquering pressure is the only thing that stands away into becoming an MVP candidate.
Good point there. And I do think Vic Fangio has been aggressive, especially the past 2 weeks here, sending blitzes at him. And I don't think the Eagles have always handled it well. Sunday's practice, they were under duress quite a bit. But this is something you've seen in practice. Speaking to Lane Johnson yesterday, you're hearing Lane Johnson speak about this yesterday. He said that they can't let what happened in that Tampa game happen this year. So there are going to be answers against blitz zero. There are going to be answers against there are going to be hot routes in this offense. So you're going to see more of that. But did I come away from camp saying they have the answers against the blitz? Not necessarily. We'll see that in games.
Biggest concern leaving camp?
Offensive line depth, because
Lockstep.
Lane Johnson's spectacular, and we know that. Lane's missed time now, going back the past 4 or 5 seasons. Now, if Mekhi Becton is your starting right guard, and Mekhi Becton's going to be the starting right guard, who's your backup tackle now? Is it Fred Johnson? Is it Tyler Steen? That's a question. What happens, if Jason Kelce had gone down last year, you move Cam Jurgens inside. If Cam Jurgens goes down this year, who's your backup center? Brett Toth has been the number 2 center in camp. I don't know if I want Brett Toth starting in games. Dylan McMahon, your 6th round pick, he has some upside. I don't necessarily feel great about that. They lost some, in addition to losing Jason Kelce, they lose Jack Driscoll, who was a valuable depth piece for them. They lose Sua Opeta, right? So now you're in a situation here where they have Trevor Keegan, a 5th round pick. I saw Baldy's breakdown on that. I thought Keegan played real well against the Patriots. He's mainly played left side. They haven't really seen him at left and right. So my big concern right now, if I look at this team, is O-line depth, because, and I'm just, I talked about the past 25 years of the Eagles, but in my 13 years covering the team, the years when they were really bad, like top 5 pick in the draft bad, it's because the offensive line was decimated. And I don't feel as comfortable about their O-line depth this year. I'll put it this way. They don't have Halapoulivaati Vaitai and Stefan Wisniewski stepping in if your left tackle goes down, your left guard underperforms.
Yeah, no, and that's what happened in the Super Bowl year.
It's like unique waters for this team. They're usually so deep at the offensive line.
Yeah.
Have you been able to catch any of Stoutland's demeanor or vibe? Does he feel comfortable with the group he's got right now?
Yeah, Stout. So the thing about Stout is these are his guys. He picked these guys, and from a developmental perspective, Keegan and McMahon are 2 players that you're trusting Stout to develop them. Mekhi Becton, that's a Stout guy. Now I watched Stout in practice. He's always he's always intense, right? I don't know if it's more or less this year. I do think that, in speaking to some of the old linemen, the old line room is different this year without Kelce, right? Mm-hmm. Kelce and Stout, they were it was, it's like beautiful minds talking old line play, right? And it's a different personality in there. Now, don't get me wrong, the Eagles have, if they're healthy, they have the best tackle combination in the league. Landon Dickerson's ready to step into an all-pro level here. And Cam Jurgens, I think he's going to be a good center, right? But the question that I have is more the depth there.
The depth. I think that's fair. Well, last thing. What has you most excited as you break camp? I mean, having those 3, mine is easy. You mentioned it earlier about AJ and Devontae and Barkley. Those 3 skill guys, the greatest skill guys ever, I think, in Eagles history.
Yes, well said. And then you had Goddard in there too. And I think Goddard can have a bounce back year. Now, a target share is a question, but the biggest reason for optimism for this team is that if you're an opposing defensive coordinator and you look at this Eagles roster, you start your week, you look at the team and you say, they got AJ Brown, they got Devontae Smith, they got Saquon Barkley. Where's the focal point of the game plan? Now, of course, you can try to pressure Jalen Hurts, but by the way, you have a high-level quarterback who's a +1 in the running game as well. There's just they can beat you in so many ways. They can beat you running the ball. They can beat you throwing the ball. They can go deep. They can dink and dunk downfield. There's these skill players in this offense. I've seen the Eagles make the playoffs with Greg Ward as their top receiver.
Yeah.
with an offense that's built around Zach Ertz and Greg Ward and throwing the ball out of the backfield to, Wendell Smallwood and, Josh Adams being their leading running back,
Yeah.
right? That's literally 2018 right there.
I saw the Eagles make the playoffs in 2000, and Torrance Small and the Charles Johnson, like these guys were. Like, in fact, the number 3 receiver was Pinkston, if you remember during that period.
Yep.
Like they were horrible.
Yeah, and
Nate Brown
Chad
was
Lewis,
the third receiver.
and you kind of don't have that dynamic. I think Deuce Staley was a good running back then, but I mean, you're talking about like the dynamic running back.
Chad Lewis was their
Saquon
best
Barkley is.
weapon.
Yeah. So in those situations, it's like, all right, can you scheme these guys open? Now I don't want to say it's as simple as rolling the ball out there, but they are absolutely loaded. I think only Miami and San Francisco compare from a skill position player perspective. So that's the biggest reason for optimism.
Love it. Love it. Zachariah! Pumped up, man. Get there, buddy. Love
Looking
it,
forward
man.
to all our coverage. We have a lot of good stuff coming up on allphly.com and then the PHLY Eagles show 2:00 every day.
And I love that show. You and Bo, fantastic, my brother. Keep it up.
Appreciate it. Talk to you guys soon.
Zach Berman, Z Berm, checking in. Of course, this portion of the program brought to us by the BETPARX Sportsbook Casino app. Let's go to the brain, the daily grind.
Brain. Red, the brain finder.
It's interesting, Brain, the Eagles having this level of skill guys, like this is uncharted territory. We've never had those 3 caliber of players between Brown, Smith, and Barkley. I mean, it's I think the closest was McCoy, Shady, Deshaun, and Macklin. That's probably number 2 in the history.
And that was a pretty good. It's funny, and first of all, again, I always like it when you guys bring up names from the past. Wendell Smallwood, I remember those days. But no, it's interesting because Deshaun Jackson, again, actually, when I looked at his Hall of Fame candidacy, it's not like completely outlandish. So, and Macklin was a good player too. I mean, I actually think I think you could argue that threesome was maybe not as good, but pretty close.
Yeah,
I actually think because I think
I wasn't a big Macklin guy. I mean, I agree with Deshaun and Shady were incredible,
elite,
right?
Yeah.
But AJ and Devontae are both they're ridiculous. Like AJ Brown.
Do you think Devonta Smith is better than Deshaun Jackson? I'll wrestle with you there.
No, I mean I think AJ Brown and Deshaun are a wash when it comes to
Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah, when it comes to production, those 2 are a wash. I mean, obviously they're different receivers. Deshaun's a big play.
Yeah, I'd
receiver.
actually AJ Brown.
And Devontae is light years better than Macklin, and I'll wrestle with you all day long, and you can bring it.
No. Listen, I'm not going to know. I hear you on that. No, look. Macklin was You're right. He wasn't he was not as good as Devonta Smith. I absolutely agree with that. But you're right. That's probably. And I was thinking, Anthony, I'm like, okay, Wilbert Montgomery, Harold Carmichael, but they didn't have that second. And that was a different era, obviously.
Yes.
When you weren't passing the ball like you do in these days, where Ron Jaworski would have put up 5,000 yards potentially today, right? Different errors and everything like that, but they didn't have that second.
I mean, the third best, Brad, would be T.O., and because you had Westbrook and T.O. and you had Pinkston. I mean, those 3.
But that's the thing. You know what? But it's funny.
But Westbrook was ridiculous and T.O. was ridiculous.
Yeah, I say I'll take T.O. over AJ, but close, and I would take Westbrook over Barkley, but close. But then obviously Pinkston versus Devonta is such a blowout that just trumps the small advantages.
Right. That's why I think that trio would be third behind
I think that's fair.
The Shady Deshaun trio. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And you could actually argue it second. I mean, because I thought Westbrook, to me, again, he's not a guy who's going to make the Hall of Fame. I get it. But man, game for game when that guy played, I think he was one of the all-time best Eagles.
I agree.
You
Yeah.
can find a bigger Brian Westbrook fan than me. I thought he was a perfect football player.
He ran routes like a receiver. Like the thing about it, he was in the. I remember Andy talking about it.
He reminded me of you know how like Mo Cheeks Anthony was like a perfect player. He played good defense, solid, did everything right. To me, Brian Westbrook was like the Mo Cheeks, like just did everything right. Wasn't flashy, but he just did there wasn't anything he couldn't do. Like he was returning kicks, returning punts, picks, block, catch the ball, run. I thought he was a perfect player. He was one of my all-time. And it's interesting. The Giants had a guy who was probably even at least had a longer career in Tiki Barber that was kind of Westbrook-like to me. But I loved Brian Westbrook. Charlie Garner
Tiki
had a good career here.
I agree. Tiki was, you could say, probably a better runner than
Not
B.
the
West.
receiver.
It was close. I think, but B. West was a way better receiver than Tiki.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's funny. It's funny. Charlie Garner in his day here, not as good as Westbrook. Man, Charlie Garner could play too. Eagles had a couple good guys like that.
I was saving this for the guys, but I'll bring it up now, and you guys can you chime in. I did my top 10 Eagles running backs.
Oh, okay.
So here's who I got in our modern day. I didn't go back, right? So I got Wilbert 1.
I was going to say Wilbert.
Westbrook 2. Okay. Shady 3, Ricky Waters 4, and I got Barkley here because he hasn't really done anything for the Eagles, right?
Yeah.
But he'll be above Ricky, I think. Then I got Deuce Staley, Sproles, Charlie Garner, Blunt, Miles Sanders, 10.
Blunt, you'd put 9?
Only because of the Super Bowl.
How many years was he here? Yeah, I know he was good.
I only got him at 9, only because of the special roll of Blunt Super Bowl. That was it.
Who was 10?
Miles Sanders.
Yeah, Miles Sanders actually had a nice career here too. You know, that's a good list. That's a good list. I mean, off the top of my head.
Yeah,
what'd you say?
I mean, Keith. I probably should have
some buyers low.
You're probably
Keith Byers. Yeah, Keith Byers was. He was a good specialty player. You could argue him versus someone like Sproles. He was kind of filled that Sproles role.
I got to tell you, I would put Byers over Blunt. To your point, I would take Blunt and I would put Byers in there. The problem with Keith was he was, he played some tight end.
Kind of a tight end, yeah.
He would block. He was a great blocker, but he never was coming out of Ohio State. He was an amazing runner, and he just never had that.
Broke his foot. Never had that kind of career, but I give him credit. It's almost like how Ricky Ankiel was the rookie of the year in pitcher, then he reinvented himself as an outfielder when he lost the plate.
Yes.
Keith Byers was the Heisman Trophy runner-up, was running for 1,800 yards at Ohio State, couldn't get 2 yards in a carry here in Philadelphia, but had a really nice NFL career by reinventing himself, saying, you know what, maybe I can't run the ball, but I'll do everything else besides run the ball, and I'll do it damn good.
And he could catch the ball out of the backfield. He was a good receiver. Any kind of screen like he would do. One of the most underrated Eagles I look at, it's funny because you kind of had a question mark with him, is Sproles. Sproles ran between the tackles. Like you get short yardage, 3rd and 1, Sproles picked up the first down.
Sproles, it's funny. Sproles, again, another guy you say, will he make the Hall of Fame? I mean, the kind of career he had, I mean, he did everything. And it's interesting. When you have a little guy like that's that tough and strong, it's so rare to find, guys who are that. He's just so stocky and strong, so versatile. I mean, Sproles was one of the all-time. I mean, he really was an all-time great player. I mean, I would not have a problem if he made the Hall of Fame. I think he was really an all-time great player in what he did for how many years did he play? I mean, he did it. He was good for a long time, and he was always really good.
He was.
I love. You're right. Sproles was really a perfect player.
Nothing. I'm looking at some of these names: Heath Sherman, Ernest Jackson.
Oh, Ernest Jackson.
Heath Sherman. No, Heath Sherman.
Ernest Jackson.
VG, look it up.
1,000 yards.
Yes, but look at average like 3.2 yards a carry. But look up Heath Sherman. Heath Sherman, the year they beat the Saints in the playoffs, I think averaged like 6 yards a carry. He had the most random good year. Heath Sherman, the year they beat Bobby Hebert in the playoffs with that year they won, and then Dallas smoked them in the playoffs. But I think it was 19. I don't know what year it is, but 91 maybe or 9. But Heath Sherman had a random great year where he like led the NFL in yards per carry.
Yeah.
5.2 yards, 1992.
5.2. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's a good pull by you, brother.
Total of 583 yards.
Man, that's
But
amazing.
that was his one shining moment.
For that era, Randall was the best running back they had.
Yeah.
By far. I still always wonder, guys, tell me if you agree, like the 1992 season, when they Jim McMahon at quarterback, if he'd not Bryce Pop had not torn Randall's ACL in that opening game against Green Bay, I felt like that was their year.
Yeah.
That was their year because their defense was. It's funny, people talk about all-time defenses. To me, it gets lost in the shuffle because they didn't win the Super Bowl, they didn't make the playoffs. But I think you could argue that it was the greatest defense I've ever seen, including the Bears, including the Ravens, including anyone you want to give me. That particular Eagles team, I think they were the only team, Anthony, if I'm correct, they led in points allowed, yards, sack. They led in every category that no team's ever done. That was if you had, again, anyone, they were I think 10-2 with McMahon and quarterback that year, but he just couldn't stay healthy, unfortunately, and they lost every other game when they were playing Jeff Kemp or Jack on one of the Kemps.
I got a great bust up. My man Boo, the Booman checks in. Big boy goes Herschel Walker. Yeah. I forgot Herschel.
Yeah, Herschel. He had a couple good years.
Yeah,
that's actually fair. What do you 3 years here?
Yeah, I think, 4? And they were decent.
Yeah, 92 to 94.
And they were good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were good. They weren't. Yeah, that was a good one. Herschel Walker.
2,300 yards in 3 years.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Dude, this is what's interesting. Sproles and Scott. Sproles is 30th all-time rushing for the Eagles. Scott is 31st. And their numbers are almost identical.
Boston Scott.
They both they have about 300 attempts, about 1,300 yards. Sproles averaged 4.5 yards a carry, and Boston Scott averaged 4.3 yards a carry. They're almost identical.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Boston. Who is Boston Scott?
Giants killer.
No, but BG, you got to look at all the other stuff that Sproles did. I mean, Boston Scott
yards.
actually, I will say this, has played well in his limited time. Whatever he gets, he's shown when he's been a very capable backup. No one could ever take that away from him. But
he's no Michael Haddix.
Michael Haddix, Mississippi State, the 8th pick in the draft. One of the biggest busts with Kevin Allen that
horrible. The Haddix. All right, what do we got today, brother?
Couple things, Anthony. Who's our favorite guy to fade in Major League Baseball? I'm not. You don't know who I said.
Patrick Corbin.
Patrick Corbin. See, Anthony, we're telepathic or whatever that word is. We don't even need to talk. We know we're thinking the same thing. Patrick Corbin under 5.5 strikeouts. Listen, 20-5 this year, 68-20 the last 3 years. Now, it is a great matchup against the Colorado Rockies, but he averages 4 strikeouts a game. You're bumping him up 1.5. I can't do that. I would have made it 4.5. Patrick Corbin, under 5.5 strikeouts. I just got to take my chance this guy doesn't get it done. And then, Anthony, a pitcher I do like is Justin Steele going against a Tigers lineup that just did get Riley Green back. They got some of their hitters back, but I still think Justin Steele pitches. He's 11-5, over 17.5 outs. A good matchup at home. Really good pitcher. I say he gets to 6 innings against the Tigers.
I like it.
And good call by you on the Phillies yesterday, Anthony. They got it done.
Yeah, but that was not.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, that wasn't exactly a. They grinded it out. Listen, we were arguing about it earlier. I loved, if you're not, we have a tendency of thinking about when it comes to the big boys. So if you're not hitting home runs, they actually won a game where Schwarber puts the ball in play, right? Pulls it to the right side, get the run home. Runner goes to third. Rojas is at third, and then Turner gets a sac fly. I thought that I was heartened by that.
I'll leave you on this note, Anthony. I have not enjoyed the Carlos Estevez experience so far.
I know. He worries me. He worried VG too.
And again, Jack Flaherty, another shutout. I'm gonna just keep saying
I know.
And I'm gonna annoy everyone on the show. I can't help it. But that
a little bit of tension yesterday, threw at a guy, a little scrum almost. Bench is clear a little bit with Flaherty, showing some life.
Listen, the Dodgers, by the way. I mean, you want to talk about
they're hot, they're scary.
A behemoth of a team. I mean, no offense to you can't even. They're just. I mean,
I know they're scary.
They're like Mike Tyson in their prime right now.
He roped a double. Two
ridiculous.
home runs earlier. I know they're tough.
I don't know who's going to beat this team. They're playing at a level that's crazy.
I know. It's baseball though. You got to hope playoffs. Let's go.
Yeah.
Brother, good stuff. Thank you, Brain.
Yeah, man. See you guys
There he
tomorrow. Good luck,
is,
guys.
the Brain, brought to us by the BetPARX Sports online sportsbook and casino. Oh, my. So tonight, the Fightins are, it's basically a pick 'em. They're minus 105. The Braves are minus 115. Sanchez Schwellenbach, the young Braves hurler, over under 8. This is a night. The way the runs have been at a premium this series, it feels very playoff-like. I don't know. I think that's a good win last night. I was heartened by the win. Sanchez against a young kid, maybe I like him tonight. I think they're going to win tonight, take the series. We'll see what the Bowa has to say. But don't forget, football around the corner. Yeah, we got it. Kickoff in Brazil. Zach was telling you about it. This Saturday, of course, as VG so eloquently said about week 0. Yes, college football begins Saturday. I cannot wait. And Skeeves is laughing at me. I don't care. College football. And that's why BetPARX and the BetPARX Sportsbook and Casino app is your home. And don't forget all the casino games that you can get right at your fingertips. In fact, like while you're watching the game, you play some blackjack or some roulette, whatever you want. Have some fun with it. And new customers, if you're down in the first 24 hours, you get to $1,000 back. Check out BetPARX.com as all the details. You got to be in PA, New Jersey, Maryland, Michigan, Ohio. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right. Also, let me tell you about Ace is the place for the helpful hardware folks. Isn't that right, JP?
That's right, cuz. Love it.
Yes, that's right. You got a leaky pipe? Ace Hardware Home Services. We're around the block with everything you need to fix it, including the person to fix it. Yeah, right now, not only do you get your supplies there, but you can also get help with Ace Hardware's Home Services. You got an air conditioning issue? Well, they got a person for that. You got a faucet that you said you would fix last fall? They got a person for that. Because they're not just the helpful hardware folks, they're also the helpful home service and repair folks. From plumbing to heating and cooling, they got the trusted pros to keep your home humming all year long. Ace Hardware Home Services, they're bringing helpful home. The helpful you love from the store now to your front door. All right? So visit Ace Hardware Home Services online. That's acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next project. Ace is the place for all of it. All right. As we reach the 10 o'clock hour, which is presented by Rite Aid. Yes, get your allergy meds, anything you need at Rite Aid, riteaid.com. We have with us, and it's a perfect day for him. I was happy with last night because he'll get you pumped up. If VG was in the dumps,
I'm not in the dumps.
yeah, you're a mook.
I'm in it's a golf clap win.
You're a bit of a
golf
mook.
clap win.
All right. Well, this guy will snap you right out. The great Bowa, Larry Bowa. What's up, Bowa?
What's up, man? Good win last night. We needed that. Watching that game, we have such great fans here, and I know they get down on us sometimes when we don't score runs. But if you really want to look into the playoffs, there's not a lot of 9 to 8 games. You got to win games like you did last night. And what's amazing about that, I was looking at the box score and watching the game. I think our first 6 hitters was 1 for 20.
Yep.
Which, when you win a game like that, and you get your guys that aren't playing every day contribute like we did last night, and the pitching obviously was great, you got to be happy about that. And I know people are down right now. We're not swinging. As we progress through this thing and play good teams, and the pitching gets better. And I watched our 2 guys pitch the last 2 nights in Nolan Wheeler. They did exactly what they had to do. I mean, there's no reason why we shouldn't have won both those games. And I'm sure Atlanta feels the same way. But the fact that Atlanta's not going away, I have a lot of respect for them. They're missing a lot of people in their lineup and their pitching staff. Hey, but they battle. And they're very much alive in the wild card. I think they're the 3rd wild card right now. So, unless something really bad happens to them, I think those Atlanta could be one of the three teams that are in the playoffs. But I'm not worried about our team at all. I know we go through ups and downs offensively, and that's part of the gig. I think the biggest thing we need right now is to get the top of the order clicking the way we want them to. And I'm not saying all 3 or 4 hitters in the top. Get 2 of the 4, get them going, and things have a tendency to even out a little bit. But you're not going to win every night 9-1,
Nah.
hit 4 home runs. It just doesn't happen. If it was that easy, there'd be a lot of teams here running away with their divisions. But I just thought the way we played last night and the way we came back was great.
Well, and we talked about 1 for 20 the night before. The top 3 are 0 for 12. But last night, when Rojas hits the double, right? You're down 2-0. And, they feel it. If they lose that game, sometimes the games, it's better not to lose than even to win. It's the same thing, but it means more because if you lose that game, now all of a sudden the lead's 4, right? Now all of a sudden you start to sweat, gets in the back of your mind. And that's why I love Schwarber's approach, right? Puts the ball in play, get the run home, move Rojas to third, and then Turner sack fly. Small ball. We always complain that they don't play small ball. They played small ball last night, and I love that.
Yeah. And the 2 guys that came off the bench had quality at bats. We're talking about Marsh and Scott.
Yeah.
And neither one of those guys started last night, but they were ready to go when they were called on. Like you said, Rojas got a huge hit. Wilson got he's swinging the bat unbelievable.
Yeah.
This guy, I watched him last year, going to watch him at AAA, and I was very impressed with him. He plays 2 or 3 different positions. He gives you quality at bats. I just think we're in a good place. The worst thing you wanted going down there is to get swept, and that obviously didn't happen. Now we got to win this game tonight and actually pick up a game because I like our chances tonight. Sanchez has been pitching great, and that team knows. I'm sure that their mindset right now is they need to win this game, Atlanta. It's one of these games where you go, God, we can't lose this game tonight. Whereas, as far as we're concerned, we want to win this game, and I think we will win this game. But if we don't, say something happens, we're still sitting in a good position. I know we got to go to Kansas City, and they're playing very good. They're in a playoff hunt right now. But personally, and I would rather play teams right now that have a chance of losing something as opposed to these teams that are 25 games out. They have nothing to lose. They hit and run when they want. They steal bases in inopportune times. They're playing very loose. I'd rather play teams that have as much to lose as supposedly we have when we start playing these games down the stretch.
No, it's a great primer. Having to play at Kansas City, who's great. Their offense is ridiculous.
Yep.
And then you got Houston at home, and then you're back with Atlanta for 4. So this 2-week stretch that brings you to September, you're playing good teams. Because I agree with you. You're playing the Nationals. It's sleepy. It's great that you win 9-2 or whatever, but it doesn't prep you for October.
Right. I agree with that. I like to watch all these games, especially at night when our game's over. I heard you talking before I came on about the Dodgers right now. They're starting to get healthy.
Yeah.
I'm still not in love with their pitching staff. Their lineup is a very good lineup, especially with Muncy back in there and Mookie Betts, 2 real good hitters. They could be a team that you think about. The other team that I'm not worried about them, but they've got my attention a little bit. San Diego's bullpen is lights out now.
Yeah.
And if by chance, and they're in a good spot right now, they get in the playoffs, you're going to see a 5-inning game. Their starters are going to go 5 innings. They go to that bullpen. They got 4 guys down there that can shut you down. So this is not going to be an easy road getting to where we want to go. Obviously, the World Series, but I think it's definitely a road where I like our team better than I like the other teams, and that's not just me speaking as being a homer. I just think this team, for some reason, we hit these little lulls where the big boys in our lineup happen to go a little bit cold. And last night was a big example of other guys picking them up. Most of the time, these guys carry us all year. Let's face it. Schwarb and Harp and Bohm, all these guys. I could go through the whole line. Trey Turner, they basically carry you the whole year, and the other guys they chip in. But to have them actually win a game the way we did last night, not only is it good for our team, but it's good for those guys that don't get to play every day, or maybe are being platooned. That they're saying, "Hey, I meant a lot to that team last night. I helped us win that ball game." I think that shows a sign of a real good baseball team.
You know the other team too that is, I look at them and they won't go away is Milwaukee. Now they lose Yelich, but
Right.
I look at that lineup. That kid Churio is legit. He's a terrific
Real
player. I think he had 4 hits last night or whatever. But they're another pesky team. Baseball
Yeah.
is the NL is awesome. Like it's
Yeah.
really entertaining baseball.
There's no question. I watched the end of that their closer, who his name's Williams.
Yeah.
He's lights out.
Yeah.
He had one of those games last night where he walked like 2 or 3 guys, and he ended up blowing a 6-4 lead in the 9th inning. And St. Louis went on to win as Arenado hit a grand slam.
Grand slam. He had a walk-off.
But that team, what that team does, they have great relief pitching. They catch the ball, and they have tough at bats. They don't have a guy that's going to hit 40 home runs. They put the ball in play. They hit and run. They steal. They are a sleepy team. I mean, don't shut your eyes on that team. And again, the drawback there for me is the starting pitching.
Yeah.
They got a good bullpen. That's why I like our team. I like
Yeah.
our starting pitching. Our guys are very capable of going 7 innings every time they get the ball and go out there. And if our bullpen, like last night, lights out last night. Estevez has a little bump in the road, but he got out of it. But when our bullpen's hitting on all cylinders, I like our bullpen. We got power arms down there. We got lefties. We got righties. But
It's good to see Strom,
anybody that's
man. When Strom is humming, he's hard to hit.
He's tough. And you know what? You're talking with him a lot. He's very aggressive, man. He said,
Yeah.
you know what? I think we nibble too much. When he talks about he's talking about relief pitchers. In general, he says, I think relief pitchers nibble too much. And before you know it, it's 1-0, 2-0, 3-1. Get him in hitters counts. He says, I go right at him. And if you watch him pitch, he goes right at you. He tries to get ahead as quick as he can and then put you away with a slider. He's very durable. He doesn't care if you're left-handed or right-handed. He's going to give you everything he has. He's done a tremendous job. Like I said, I like where we're at right now. Would I like to see us hit more? Yeah, no question. I would love to see us get 6, 7 runs every night. It's not going to be that easy. And as you well know, you've been following baseball a long time. Once those playoffs get here, you very seldom see 9-8 games, 8-7 games. It's 2-1, 3-2. Catch the ball. Don't give away outs. Don't walk guys late in the ball game. And that's what we got to do. And last night I thought we played a really, really good game. Would I have liked to seen more hits? Yeah, but it didn't happen.
Listen, you managed and coached in this game a long time after being a great player. When you look at Alvarado, because I think they got to get him back, right?
No question.
I mean, because Estevez, and VG brought up, it's interesting. He's never been in a high-pressure playoff, at least, situation. Are you comfortable with him as your closer in October? How do you get Alvarado to snap out of it? Like, what's the tonic when it comes to a back end guy that you need to get right?
Well, first of all, I'm not all in the analytics, but I am in when something like the numbers that I saw come up. I think his strikeout rate last year was like 13 per 9. It's down to 9 now. His walks are up now, as opposed to last year. I think the biggest thing with him right now, Anth, is his command. When he gets ahead of hitters, he puts them away. And he's spinning off the ball. He's falling off towards third base. The breaking ball is a ball out of the hand. It's not strike, 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 then ball. It's ball out of the hand. And these big league hitters recognize that. You're right. We need him. There's no way we can say, oh, we're going to put him on hold. He's not going to be. We need this guy bad. And now if you hit a bump in the road with Estevez, and then you got options down there. You know, you got Hoffman, you got Alvarado, you got a lot of Strom, you got a lot of guys down there. And we know Tomps likes to have a routine down there, and he's trying to stick with this kid. You made a great point getting the closer from Anaheim. It's a different environment, and that team has not been in playoff contention for a long time. I like his stuff, and I know Last couple outings been a little rough. But I think Tom's going to stick with him right now. But the closer we can get Alvarado to being himself, that's going to make that bullpen much deeper than it is right now. No question. And I think you got to keep throwing him out there, Am. I know they want to bring him in situations where there's not a lot of stress and everything, but we need this guy to throw strikes and get that cutter over, and then I think we're going to be in a good spot.
Yeah, I'm with you. Hey, I got two last things. One is just the overall state of shortstops in baseball. I mean, everywhere I look, I see these dynamic players. It's awesome to see. Like Bobby Witt, we're going to see in Kansas City, who's terrific, right? Like, and they're all big. Ellie De La Cruz, another home run last night, right? Like, the position is awesome now.
It might be the deepest position in baseball as far as talent. And these guys, back in the day, middle infielders weren't big dudes. And I guess it started with really Ripken when he eventually being one of the big guys in A-Rod. These guys are huge, man. They can run, they can throw. The one thing you see a little bit about the two kids in Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, they're a little erratic in the field, but you know what? That's natural. When a kid comes up, he's going to go after balls. He's going to think he can make every play. You throw a ball off balance, you throw it away. I mean, one guy's got 16 or 17 errors, but talent-wise, that position is off the charts. And you mentioned the guy we're going to see next, Witt. He is fun to watch. This guy does it all. He can run, he can throw, he can hit with power. He's legit. The shortstop for Baltimore is a stud. Lindor's having an unbelievable year. He's got 25 or 26 home runs. That team's hanging in there right now. This is going to be fun going down these last 40 games or so for the teams that are really fighting. Those teams, Anthony, as you well know, when you got to start winning every game starting the last week, 10 days of August, and it goes all the way to September, that momentum doesn't go away. When you're actually playing playoff games for 5 or 6 weeks, as opposed to a team, now I'm not saying I don't want to win this thing and lock it up early, but I like meaningful games at the end. I don't like a team to shut it down because they clinched it. Now you got to crank it back up after being a week off. And if you watched the 2 years ago when the Phillies got in as a wild card, boom, World Series. I know we got beat by Houston. Watch last year, Arizona, boom, a wild card that had to fight for their lives for the last month. I'd like us to still keep playing the way we're playing, but not clinch it to the point where, we're going to rest everybody the last 2 weeks. And I don't think Thompson would do that, but I don't like that week off. For some reason, when you have good 2 veteran pitchers, we really got more than 2, but Wheeler and Nola like pitching every 5th day, and I don't want to see him sitting on the sideline for 8 or 9 days.
I'm with you, completely with you. All right, Bowa, training camp is over, all right? Eagles' final preseason game is Saturday. What's Bowa have for the win total? What's the record that Bowa is seeing in this 17-game season that the Birds are about to play?
First of all, I love the Eagle team right now. I mean, getting a dude from the Giants, wow. It's ironic. I've been playing a little golf, and I keep now not before the camp opened. I watched him. He plays golf. He's playing by himself, toting his bag around. He's awesome. Getting used to the Philly golf courses real quick. I just like this team. I'm leaning. I'm really leaning towards 12, and 11 or 12. The defense is going to be good. I think Hurts is going to have a monster year, especially with the addition of the back coming out of the backfield. And of course, the receivers are off the charts. But I see this team 11 or 12 and deep run. I really do. There's a lot of talent out there. This city's getting to the point now where it might be 80 again. I'm watching Sixers. I think the Sixers have improved. The Flyers, I like where they're headed. The Arrows headed up. The Phillies, and of course the Eagles. We want all 4 teams like we did in 80 fighting for the last thing. And hopefully we'll get more than one that come out with the ring. So hopefully the Eagles can do what they're supposed to do. We're going to do what we have to do. And I see us going to the World Series. I really do.
It's funny. I've been like my entire career when I came back to Philly after I left New York has been and started doing radio where you could be less of a journalist and more fun fan kind of thing. And I've been trying to rekindle that 1980 thing. I was 10, right? Like looking up, and this was like the greatest time of life with
It's
all four
unbelievable.
teams. It was the greatest, Bo.
And you know what's amazing about that? People's attitude. You know, when you're driving in a car and somebody runs you over, or they switch lanes. When every team's winning, they say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." When you're in last place, they're flipping you off and everything. The attitude of the city takes it to another level. Everybody's happy. Every team's involved. No matter where you go to the ice hockey game, you go to the basketball. Every team is fighting, and people don't understand what that does to the city and the surrounding areas. When you have four teams that are legit, and every single night when they play, hey, we got a chance to win. We got a chance to go to the playoffs. That adds so much. People punch on a clock every morning. They got to go into work, and your teams are in last place. They're miserable going to work. When you have four teams that are playing good, people could hardly wait to get, oh, how'd they do last night? It was a late game. Oh, they won. You want that attitude in this city, and I can see that arrow pointing that way, the way these teams are going right now. I really can.
Yes. And then like when you were, you know what I love too is like you guys were all close. Like you shared, you shared the vet with the Eagles, so your guys were always together. And I always remember seeing pictures and like you and all the Eagles, you and Ron Jaworski, and you were buddies with all those guys.
Yeah, and not only that, but I remember when we played a Sunday afternoon game towards the end of the year, the Flyers would play a Sunday night game. We would play at the vet, go across the street and watch them, and we'd hang out with the Flyer guys too. You know, the Flyers and Phillies, they have a tendency to like have a couple brewskis. So we would hang out there. We'd hang out with the Eagles because, like you said, we showered in the same way. The shower was in between our locker room and theirs. There was a closeness between those two groups. They would come to our games. We would go to their games. You'd hang out with them a little bit. I know that doesn't happen now because of social media and everything, and you got to be careful where you go, who you're sitting next to, and all that. But when we played, it was fun, man. We hung out with those guys. They left us tickets. We left them tickets. And it was fun to watch. I used to love the Broad Street Bullies.
Wow.
I mean, Schulte and those guys. We go over there just for the fights. We go over there. I did a promotion with Schulte about it was last year, and I said, man, I remember the one game where you guys, before they even dropped the puck, you guys threw the gloves down. He goes, oh, that was premeditated. I never started out there on the first line. He says, I just had to make sure I got the first lick in. And that's what he did, man. But they were fun to watch. They were really fun to watch.
They were, man. And those brawls were ridiculous, right?
That's the only thing I miss about hockey. I mean, I love watching it.
Yeah.
But I like when they get into it in the corners and scramble and fight and stick up. If one of their big boys gets a cheap shot, the goon, supposedly the so-called goon, would go out and take care of business. That's what team's all about, and it was fun watching them.
It was like Clark, and they would. If you went breathed on Bobby Clark, forget about it. They would just attack you.
And the Hound and Barber, I mean, all those guys. Bernie, they were a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that was it. I tell the guys all the time that look, it's about reliving that one time. I want like one stretch of time because from '77 when you guys were '76 really, through to '83 when the Sixers last won it, it was an incredible time at Philadelphia. So
it was the attitude. It's amazing how the attitude changes with everybody when your sports teams are doing good. It really is.
You're the best, brother. The great.
All right, I got a prediction. I'm going to give you the score too tonight.
Oh,
I got 6-2 for the Titans, and then we're going to move on to Kansas City, and we're going to have a tough game, a tough series there. But that team is not used to playing in playoff situations, so I think our experience might take over there. But I like 6-2 win tonight for the Titans.
6-2 behind Sanchez.
Yeah,
who will pitch? I think he's going to pitch well tonight too. So I love.
And I think Rangers taking the wraps off this weekend. I think if everything goes right, he's going to throw one of these games this weekend.
Yeah, I think I saw Saturday. So
might be Saturday or something. Yeah.
So that'll be big. All right, 6-2 Titans, and Eagles win 12. I love it.
12. And we have to get ready for Red October. And I see you already got your. Even though it's Nebraska, I like that coach anyway. But we need Red October to get here quick. I don't think any team wants to come in here. Believe
Damn
me.
right, brother.
That's a little intimidating, and I like our chances.
Well, I'm going to be bugging you a lot during that period.
Okay.
So,
I like it. I like it.
You're the greatest, brother. We love you, man. Be
All right,
safe.
and you guys take care. I love watching you guys.
The great
Okay.
Larry Bowa Thomas.
He's such a Philly treasure.
He's the greatest,
Yeah,
man.
I love him.
6 runs
Look, you got
tonight.
a smile on your face.
Yeah, Bowa's there.
Bowa's the tonic.
He is the tonic.
6 runs, couple homers
He's
tonight.
a gummy. He's a human form of a gummy. I love it. Oh, man. Feeling all relaxed now.
The Bowa
I'm going to bet
gummy.
that 6-2 score, too. I'm not messing with that. Hey, check this out. Talking about size, Bowa is 5'10", 155. Ozzie Smith, 5'11", 150. Ellie De La Cruz, 6'5", 200. O'Neal Cruz, 6'7", 215.
I know, these shortstops are insane.
Oh, my God.
It's amazing the difference in size of these guys.
I mean, and you go around like Bobby Witt. I don't know what his size is,
Yeah.
but he's big. Like the shortstops.
6'7", 215.
I mean, that's ridiculous, right? Like O'Neal Cruz.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. The kid Abrams from Washington is
another big one.
another big
Yeah.
kid that plays.
It was always the short kid, agile, quick.
Yeah. Go deep in the whole Concepcion.
Yeah.
He
Oh
was
my
probably
God.
little.
Yeah.
Right? Like those guys were all, and there was never, you know what started? And it was my favorite player was Troy Tulowitzki from the Rockies. Tula, because he was big, tall, and he got, I think he was no, he wasn't 6'7", but I think he was 6'3", 6'4", every bit of it.
Let's see. He was 6'3", 205.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big change.
Yeah, and he had pop.
Yeah.
He had a lot of pop in his bat. So I love seeing it. I have to tell you, I've enjoyed this season so much.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
overall,
talking about baseball.
Oh, yeah.
MLB.
Baseball, yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
talking about, I mean, the Phillies were, it's been a roller
Baseball's
coaster.
got a real problem because they don't market these players well enough. They're the
Dude,
only league who
I
can't.
don't
They have some
understand
great,
it.
fun players.
Like they need to hire the NBA
Yes.
to come in and market their players. They got some great, like, we're going to go play Kansas City this weekend, and nobody knows about Bobby Witt.
Nobody.
Nobody. They got someone in the streets.
He's batting 400 at home.
Dude, he's
400.
He's owed extra bases.
Yeah.
I don't know if you got to pull up his numbers.
I can.
His numbers are sick.
Yeah.
Like just sick. Like he's always on base. He's just ridiculous. He bats 2 in the order.
I mean, he's hitting 352 for the season. 25
in
home
an
runs.
era of nobody hits for average.
Yeah. 25 home runs, 25 stolen bases.
25 home runs, 25 steals. How many ribbies he got?
92.
Dude,
His on base is 402.
dude, that's sick.
Yeah.
What's his slugging?
619.
I mean, you got to
What an
be
unreal
kidding
season,
me. Like,
man.
that's unbelievable.
And like Ellie De La Cruz, there's no more fun to watch. He gets on base and he's just stealing base after base.
And dude,
And he's 6'5".
and by the way, the best personality. Like, how do you not market that kid?
Right.
All he wants to do is be great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we heard his whole thing about it. He's working hard in learning English.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he really wants it.
Yeah. A lot of fun young players.
Yeah, I have to tell you, I love where MLB is at.
Yeah.
These guys want to be marketed. It's just the league. They don't want to do it.
It's
I
like-
don't think they don't want to do it. I don't think
they know how to do it.
They don't know how to do it, man.
It's not that hard, though.
Dude, I hear you.
The pitch clock, the no shift, they've all really improved the game.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. All right. We're to come up with VG's Nugs. I kind of want to go back over that Eagles 10 for you. We're going to do Eagles 10 leading into the season, every position.
It's dope.
All right.
Yeah.
So we'll have some fun with our Eagles 10. Let me tell you about Primo Hoagies. Primo's has a new app. Yes. Now it makes it so much easier to order your hoagies right on the app. It's fantastic. For over 30 years, Primo Hoagies has offered a culinary experience that celebrates tradition, quality, and the unmistakable flavor of Philadelphia. You want to talk about the hoagie personifying the city. That's what Primo's does. From their first store opening in 1992 in the heart of South Philly, with salmon shops on every corner. See, Big Nick and all the guys at Primo's, they needed to stand out with something truly special. Their secret, the quality of ingredients that go into every sandwich, from the finest meats and cheeses to their award-winning seeded bread baked in store every couple hours. Primo Hoagie's committed to crafting sandwiches that set the standard for excellence. All right, that's the true Philadelphia sandwich. Download the new Primo Hoagies app. Enter for your chance to win a year of free hoagies. That's right. From now through November 15th, when you download or update your Primo Hoagies app, you can enter their new sweepstakes where one grand prize winner will win free hoagies for an entire year. You can only enter through the app, though, so make sure you download it and hurry to enter before it closes. Check out primohoagies.com/app for all details. It's not just a hoagie. Nah, man. It's a Primo. And I tell you about the BETPARX Sportsbook online casino app all the time. In fact, Bowa is 6'2" fighting tonight. I know my man to my left will be hitting that BETPARX button. But what about the casino, right? Parks Casino, Street Road, Bed Salem, a mecca of entertainment. It's the reason why it's by far Pennsylvania's #1 casino, because it has everything, right? Like, think about what you want with fun. You want food, drinks, excitement, right? Action. You want entertainment. Well, that's Parks Casino, right there, Street Road, Bed Salem. How about the $5 Epic Happy Hour that is ridiculous every Wednesday through Sunday at the Liberty Bell Gastropub? $5 drafts, $5 glasses of Albertoni Cabernet. The drink of summer, $5 Twisted Tea, frozen whiskey, Arnold Palmer's. How about your $5 small plates? Braised short rib sliders, hot honey chicken sliders, rotisserie chicken flatbreads. How about the new Parks Casino Epic $5 Happy Hour happening right now? So you want to go out, you're looking for a date night, looking for, guys night, girls night, you got it, right? Parks Casino. All roads lead there. 3,200 state-of-the-art slots, 115 live table games, beautiful poker room, the collection of award-winning restaurants that are ridiculous. Joe Conklin, my buddy, his comedy night every Thursday. How about live cover bands at the 360 Lounge? How about headliners at the 1,500-seating Sight Center? Greatest comedians. Check it out, parkscasino.com for all shows. Got to be 21. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Parks Casino, this is how you win. All right, boys. We began the show with a little bit of Phillies.
Yep.
And you feel better?
Yeah, of course. Bowa's here.
Right?
Yeah.
You were a little down.
I mean, it's still
Chewing
it's
on the
just
Bowa
not the
gummy.
greatest win, but yeah, I mean, I feel good for where they're going. He got them going to the World Series. It's Bowa Damas.
Listen,
Can't argue with that.
I'd be lying to you if I said, they're a lock to go to the World Series. I mean,
I wouldn't believe it if you said it, but Bowa Damas says it. I'm in.
well, you should believe if I say it, but that's all right.
Yeah.
Because I'm a pretty objective. I don't just go lead with.
It's not about that. It's a prognostication skills. Like he's got the
Yes,
gift.
I agree with you.
He's the soothsayer.
Yes, he is. He's got the gift.
Yeah.
But I will say this. Look, the fact that they were able to win a leverage game is like that to me. I just take those little things out and that you're looking, JP, you're looking to just kind of just play good ball over the next, get your mojo back. And the next thing you know, it's going to be October. It's going to be playoffs.
Exactly. Just keep that ball rolling like we talked about earlier. Atlanta's, even though they're missing some key pieces, it's still a good team, good managed team. And so heading into that Royal Series, I want to see them obviously get some dubs. I know VG
I
wants
worry
to
about
match.
the Royal Series.
I mean, I do too a little bit, but get that
You
confidence
got
roll.
Walker Friday. Rangers going to be a big deal.
Yes.
Because
Hopefully
it's a
comes
good
back
lineup
Yep.
that he's going to face. So Rangers going to be a big deal.
KC, Bowa made a good point. They haven't been in any real important games. They haven't, they're young.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it where he's coming from.
All right. I'm glad you're good. All right. Hit me with some nugs.
All right, we're going to start off with a little back in the day nug from our friends at Rite Aid.
Shouts to Rite Aid.
Jerry Rice, in his career, had 11 consecutive 1,000-yard receiving seasons. 11.
in an era where they didn't throw like they do today.
Yeah. If Mike Evans gets 1,000 this year, he will tie it as the only two people. It's the longest consecutive streak.
He's underrated to me.
Who, Mike Evans?
Yeah, I didn't think he had it going that long. This will be his 11 years.
He's been in the league a long time. And
Yeah.
he's that big receiver
Yeah.
that, and hey, listen, him and Godwin, could you imagine if they had, like they win it with Brady, right? But can you imagine if they had a quarterback during that entire run with those two guys?
I was going to say, look at the quarterbacks other than Brady.
Right.
Winston, Baker.
Yeah, been horrible, right?
Yeah, trash.
But it's funny. So Baldy likes Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to two other guys in the league, and we were talking about the NFC. Both of them brought up Tampa. And I'm going, all right, like I see them be good.
Right.
But, I mean, does Baker Mayfield like strike fear into you? And listen, I know he riddled them last year.
Yeah, they beat us last year.
And he riddled them.
Yeah.
But is he a guy that's going to repeat? Like, can he have a Jared Goff like resurrection? Is that possible?
That's going to change stuff for me. I got them 10-7 win that game. Now they're 9-8. If the Bucs are for real, I didn't think the Bucs were for real.
Everything's working for them, right? Like they have a good roster, good coaching, but the quarterback. Oh, also the division's not that good, but the quarterback is what's going to hinder them.
I don't know. I know. It's just interesting.
I wonder why people love him so much.
The guy, no Skeeves?
Nah.
One of the guys said to me, and he brought up Baker and he brought up Jared Goff. He said, you would have said the same thing about Jared Goff, wouldn't you?
It's just his history, Baker. Yeah, he's good, but I don't think he's gonna level up like that. I don't think he's gonna take a Jared Goff level up.
I could see him doing what they did last year, win a wild card game, and then done.
They could win that division.
Yeah, well, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What about the Falcons? Are they a better team now? Are they scarier these days?
I think they're a much better team.
Suddenly, the first half of the Eagles' schedule is getting a little more difficult.
Plus, at New Orleans is always tough. Like I think they're a much better team, and obviously, but we went through that Eagles schedule, and like the last 5, they should roll through, right?
100%.
Like, and you know that year to year the scripts flip. Like I could see this year where they get off to a slower start, but then they go on a roll, right? Which is the opposite of last year. Almost like the Phillies, right? The Phillies were slow start, get hot.
Yeah.
This year, hot, start to slow down. So I could see a flip the script this year. Plus, the young defensive players are guys that are interesting because we talked to Zach Berman today. Their secondary, their corners are deep.
They have a lot,
right? And they're young, so you expect them to play real good ball by the end of the year, like they get acclimated.
Yeah, second half they should be finding their way.
That did concern me a little bit today with that offensive line talk. I mean, we've always had some solid depth, especially with Stoutland here. And this year, it's not as strong as before.
Yeah.
That's concerning.
That's real.
It's just a trust factor. In Stoutland, we trust,
Stoutland, you, baby.
Hey, there's a guy hanging out in Colorado, and he's super happy. His name is Matvey Michkov. He's posted on the Service Telegram.
Wow.
Nature in Colorado is amazing. Thumbs up, strong. # Let's go Flyers.
Let's go to Wissahickon.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. He's seeing the country.
Yeah.
Does it remind him of the Russian wilderness?
I don't think. It's a little more snow there.
Let's take Michkov to Wissahickon, BJ.
Wissahickon. Come on, we want to keep him here. No offense, Wissahickon is a joke.
That's all right. It's what we got around here.
I'm excited for it. How about Bowa bringing up 1980?
Oh,
this is glory.
I know you
days.
love
It's
that
like,
too. That was cool.
It's like his
We do
time.
the 1980 watch.
Why do you think they don't hang like the team, like the players of all the teams don't hang out as much as they used to? Is it really social media?
Nah,
I don't think players hang out that much anymore.
Yeah, I think.
general.
Well, I think that's what Bowa meant. Larry meant that because of social media, they're not hanging out. Like back in the day, those dudes were out every night.
Yeah.
Like they were always hanging out. The legendary Rexies and all those places, they were all there. So the Phillies and the Eagles, so at the vet, there was no practice facilities and all this other stuff. The Eagles had a bubble later in the parking lot, but when they were playing, the Eagles and the Phillies shared the vet. Wow. So, it was a multi-purpose stadium. So they were hanging out, their locker rooms, the whole thing. And the Sixers had an office at the vet. So the Sixers people would be at the vet too.
That I did not know. Okay.
Yeah. And then, of course, the Flyers were across the street. And those guys, like he said, were buddies. So it was kind of cool.
It'd be cool, like seeing like I don't know, like JT Realmuto and Dallas Goedert grabbing dinner.
Although you do see guys at the Eagles go to Sixer games.
Yeah, they do. I do
Right?
see that.
Like,
They sit front court.
You'll see you'll see Saquon ring the bell.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You see Bryce ring the bell.
Felt like Kelsey
Yeah.
and Fletcher were good with like the Phillies going to the games. There was last year in that run, Fletcher went into the clubhouse.
Jason was all about it.
Yeah, but you don't catch them eating dinner together. You don't see that buddy. You see them like going to the games, but there is definitely a difference.
Or at the bar / pub.
They just don't drink a lot anymore.
That's true too. They don't. That's not really part of the
their
culture.
bodies are temples, man.
Catch a
Gotta keep-
Gatorade together?
Maybe liquid death or something.
Hey.
Hey, Joey Votto retired.
Oh, dude.
Here's an interesting little nugget about Joey Votto. He saw 35,630 pitches in 46 plate appearances. He pulled about a ball foul for an out just twice.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Are you serious?
8,746 at bats or plate appearances.
Oh my
He was
God.
nasty in his
wild.
prime.
He had a great eye.
He did have a great eye.
He was a
a
very
great
disciplined hitter.
Great hitter.
Yeah.
Great hitter. He was a prickly guy,
Yeah. He
Prickly.
was a prickly guy.
but
Not likable, really.
No.
Yeah.
Also great on TikTok, if I might add.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's pretty funny. He likes to make fun of like the youth, and it's pretty
Interesting. I'll check out some Joey Votto TikTok. Hey, the Colts. A lot of people hype on the Colts this year. Anthony Richardson's back. They got this guy. He's making his rounds. He makes up songs for these games. This is what he did for the Bengals, and it's a real banger.
This is our Colts. This is our team. We bleed blue. This is our Colts. Whether win or lose, we love them. For the shoe, beat the Bengals. Let's cook 'em and eat their strides. This is our team. Go Colts.
He does a little Colt neigh at the end.
I actually do love it.
that's awesome.
I do love it.
I guess
That's
he's
hysterical.
a comedian. I think he's a comedian.
Is he?
But yeah, it's a great song. So
I
I
figure
think he's
he
going
is.
to do it for
Eat their
all the
stripes.
Eat their stripes.
Oh, that's
I
fabulous.
love the neigh at the end.
Yeah. Oh, that's classic.
Yeah, man. So
The
come
Colts.
on, Philadelphia. We need a song for every
show.
game, man.
No, that's please no.
No, I like that. I like to have that.
Let's
Yeah,
have
yeah.
some fun.
Can you say it?
Remember the Padres?
You don't like
the
that as a
song?
theater kid?
That's
You don't
not like
that?
that's not like the Padres.
Corny.
That's not like
Steve,
the
it's like,
Padres.
it's football.
Padres
Come on,
was
have some fun with
ridiculous.
it.
Padres was ridiculous. That guy at least had a little melody. Come on.
This is our Colts.
Yeah, and he's
That was
just jealous.
good.
He's a theater guy jealous.
This is our
This guy's getting
team.
some traction.
This is our everything. No, I'm out.
That was a good invitation, though.
That is pretty good.
That was a
Yeah,
good invitation.
Yeah, you gotta
Give
go
me more of it. Give me the.
No,
Just
I'm
say
done.
birds. Say my birds are my
Taking their
eagles.
stripes. This is our shoe. This is our everything.
Yeah, it's a catchy song, man.
No, I'm out.
This is our
Totally out.
everything.
Ski.
Hey, how many weeks till kickoff in the NFL?
What do you mean? How many weeks?
Yeah, how many
Coming
weeks?
up 2 weeks.
2 weeks. So this guy,
3
he
weeks.
gave his wife notice. 2 weeks notice. It's interesting the way he gives her. He put it as 2 weeks notice.
Oh my God, that's awesome. Let me see it.
I need to hand this to you.
Is it me?
As soon as you read it out loud.
Callie, this is to inform you that 2 weeks from today is the start of the NFL season. The past several months I have been an engaged, loving, helpful, and thoughtful husband and father. However, I must with remiss inform you that I am putting in my 2 weeks notice. I will no longer be available for work on Sundays, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., Monday evenings nor Thursday evenings due to conflicting commitments. I'll also be available every Saturday due to conflicting commitments between the hours of 10 a.m. and 12 a.m. the next morning. This will be in effect until the end of February and early March. Thank you for your understanding.
Can't read it.
That's awesome.
Well,
The 2 weeks notice.
all boys are putting my 2 weeks notice in
That's
today too.
fabulous.
She's great though. At the end, she says, "I'm sorry, I can't accept this notice. There's a staff shortage."
She said that That's great.
That's so
That's
funny,
awesome.
dude. That's good.
Dude, 2 weeks. Wow, 2 weeks.
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
That's unreal. It's 2 weeks, dude.
Yeah. Everything changes in relationships in 2 weeks.
Yeah, man.
Like Sunday nights is like we usually watch a movie. It's like, I don't know. It's done. Noon to midnight, basically.
And I love how he
Changed.
put Saturday in there, too.
Yeah.
If I did that, if I did that, that thing would be ripped in half.
Yeah, now I'd be like,
She'd be like, yeah, right.
Time's used to it.
Yeah. I got married on a bye week. She looked at the calendar. I was like, this is the only time in the fall we're getting married.
Did you really?
Yeah.
You did a bye week?
Yeah.
That's actually impressive, dude.
Yeah.
that's
Happened to be an October bye week. She wanted October. It's perfect.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, when we were
What
playing,
year?
2005.
Nice. 05.
Yeah.
well,
That was the
good year.
bad year,
That
too.
was not a good
That
year.
was
That
after the
was the
Super Bowl.
CEO setups. And,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Mike McMahon, baby.
Yeah.
There was a game against, like, you just kept waiting for them to dominate, and they did, right?
Yeah.
And there was the game against Denver. You remember the game against
Denver.
God, no.
Yes.
I remember
Yeah.
that one.
Yes.
McNabb was still quarterback.
And they were winning the game. And then Donovan threw like a bad pick, 6. You don't remember this?
All
No.
downhill.
Yeah.
No.
When
You have no memory.
I do have no memory. If this happened to me, I would remember it. Some guy in Thailand was hanging out doing his business, and a python came up and bit him on the jewels and wouldn't let go. And he had to
Oh, my
beat the
God.
python to death with the toilet brush. There's python blood all over the floor.
I was going to ask, is that python or ball
Yes,
blood?
they're saying it's python
What?
blood from the beaten snake.
How do you not notice? Like, dude, that's so noticeable. Before you're about to pull your, you know
It
what
could
out?
just
Like, how do
been
you
hang-
notice that?
could've just
pull
been
is-
hiding in the
don't know.
water.
You
Dude.
can't the Monday morning quarterback that. Like, who knows? Maybe the thing wasn't even out.
Yeah.
Cause public restroom, I'm examining that toilet up and down. I don't care if I'm peeing. I'm examining
sticking
that
a
bad
mirror
boy.
down
Well, you're
there.
Thailand.
I have an
Like, it's
irrational.
not like it's Jersey, right? Like there are guys in Thailand. I don't know. Like who knows? The thing wasn't around. Like are you expecting pythons in Jersey?
No.
But
No.
no, I'm examining for cleanliness. And obviously,
Well,
if I see a little
obviously,
head
yeah.
popping out, I'm like, I'm out.
Well, you're not
Hold this
saying
piece.
that. Like I'm telling you, the thing is probably lower than
It's a
the plate.
considerable sized python.
Dude, a python.
Yeah,
Just
ha-
thinking to grab
stuff,
the
dude.
toilet brush.
Yeah, but
You got to whack it with some force with a toilet brush to kill it.
that's what I was saying. Is the toilet brush strong enough to
Like,
whack it?
you're
That's a
whacking
good point.
hard. If that's happening to you, you're
You
pounding,
need some weight
pounding
behind
on
it.
that python.
I probably was
Be
sitting
like
on the
lead
sink.
pipe.
Oh my God! Could you?
Where you get a lead
Oh,
pipe in the bag? You got a lead pipe in your pocket? What are
Sorry,
you
guys,
doing,
we're all
lead
playing
pipe?
now.
Nobody's bringing a pipe.
Imagine the guy comes running out of the bathroom like, help.
Oh my God!
That
the
thing
thing's-
locked
Oh God forbid! That's a nightmare.
Worst nightmare.
Oh,
I'd be
man.
like
Dude,
jamming it in the door, like trying to get them to let go.
Hit it with some jab.
Freaking python!
Yeah.
Oh
I
my!
just seen the comedy movie, just hitting it with the door, like
Yeah.
swinging.
Yeah, I am out on Thailand. If that's happening, I am out on Thailand.
Yeah, dude, I
I
hear
hear
you.
good
There's
things over
certain,
there.
I love to travel,
Yeah.
but there are places that I'm kind of out on. Like I really don't need to go to deep into the jungle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
I went to
Bangkok or
I went to Costa Rica.
Yeah, how was that?
All right, that was. I mean, it was beautiful. I mean, it was nice, but there's certain places like even that was roughing it a little bit. I woke up, there was a monkey on the thing. I'm like, yeah. The good thing I'm good with the primates.
Yeah. Oh, let me ask you, talking about the primates, how do you, Ski's giving me a hard time the other day. I was eating a banana. How do you eat a banana from the stem side or the bottom, the base
long as
side?
you don't
Where
eat
do you
the
start peeling it from?
STEM.
Stem.
Yeah, you guys are doing it all wrong. The stem is like a handle. You peel from the top. It's so easy to peel that way. And I learned it from when I was at the Berlin Zoo, the primate, I was watching the gorilla eat a banana. I was like, why is this banana's got it upside down? And then I tried it and I did some research and it's way easier to eat the banana that way.
Oh, because the stem you hold.
Sometimes that stem is a little tough to get off.
Yeah.
You pinch the bottom half and it peels right open. You can hold the stem.
That's genius.
I got one more banana at
primates.
home.
the
to try.
primate. I love the primates.
Yes.
Man. They give you the clues, the hacks to life.
Yes.
VG's taking advice from a primate.
Yeah, man.
That's what he's right.
It was also
Oh, that's
fascinating. They would throw in hard-boiled eggs to eat. And it would just gently sit with these big primate hands and peel little pieces of the egg. It wouldn't eat the shell. Just gently peel.
I love hard-boiled eggs. I hate peeling them.
Yeah. Eat your bananas upside down.
That's good. That's good. That's actually a great tip.
Yeah.
We'll try it tonight.
Tip.
We'll try that.
Speaking of zoos, there's some zoo in New Jersey, the Kahansick Zoo in Bridgeton, New Jersey. There's a tiger lady. She jumped the fence, hopped in with the tigers, and
it did not end well.
No, it ended fine.
Okay.
The tiger takes a run at her, like tries to bite her hand or something here. She's still behind some kind of protection. It's hard to see, but the thing is, they put this out, circulating this video for help finding this woman. This video looks like it's from Kazakhstan, 1974. Like, the quality of this surveillance video is impossible to figure out a face. You can't decipher anything.
So what happened?
She's fine. They got a warrant. They got an APB out. They're sharing this video to find this woman for breaking whatever rules. But at this point, who has cameras like that at this point?
Yeah, no, you need.
If you can't decipher a face, like my Ring camera's $100. I can see who's at my door.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, these Ring cameras.
Oh, they're big.
You know.
Yeah. Depressing news in the entertainment world. J-Lo and Ben Affleck breaking up.
Oh, man.
J-Lo filed for divorce. No attorney involved. Showed up on her own.
Amicably.
They got no prenup. So we'll see.
Clean break.
Is that surprising?
This is her fourth marriage. Ben's second. You know, you wish them the best.
Wait, didn't they? This is the second go around with them.
Second go around.
Yes. No, they weren't married though before.
Did you see the video where like he's helping her get in the car and he just looks miserable?
No, what's the funny thing about it is, I you know, man, I'm completely out on all this stuff, but it's impossible not to see like osmosis.
Right.
Every time he was with her, he had to look like, dude,
miserable.
Really? Like he was always miserable.
And he's sober.
What's that?
He's sober too, so he can't do anything to help
and the funny thing about him is he is very relatable. As much as I joke about Affleck, he's a relatable dude. Like he's walking around in like a Celtics t-shirt on and Patriots. Yeah. Like he's always got his Boston gear, right? And like he's walking and like she's in front of him, like snapping fingers, like let's go. And he's just like miserable.
Yes. You feel for him.
Like I felt exactly. He felt like it. Like just here's this dude completely. She's tortured him.
Here I am again. How did I get here again?
Right, because she's all about social media and all that. You know, listen, God bless her. But like, you know, he's just like, dude, I just want to go watch a game.
Yes,
he's a normal dude.
She has almost as many rings as Tom Brady.
Wow.
Boom.
Hey,
the University of Louisiana Monroe has announced their starting quarterback.
This is great.
General Booty.
Wait, where did he transfer from?
I don't know.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
He comes from a long line. He's the nephew of a couple Booties that played in the NFL.
John David Booty.
Yeah.
John David Booty.
General, that's his actual General Axel Booty.
Yeah, it's a great name.
There was another one before. Was it David? No.
John David Booty.
There was one before him, I feel like.
Yeah, I think he was LSU, if I'm not mistaken, because the other Booty.
Booty?
John David Booty, one of them. You got it?
No, I do not.
There's a Josh Booty who actually played for the Marlins.
Yeah, but there's a quarterback. I want to say John Booty, the David Booty.
The Booty Booty.
Something like that. General Booty.
General Booty. Like naming your kid General, that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
It's a lot you're putting on that kid.
Moscow has a scrimmage tonight.
Uh-oh.
They didn't have one yesterday.
Where's Moss playing? What position?
He's quarterback.
Quarterbacking? All right.
Wait, apparently Brock Berlin was related to the Booty brothers.
A long line of genetics in this Booty line.
Quarterbacks.
I remember Brock Berlin because NFL Europa.
NFL Europa.
I used to love NFL Europa.
Did you really?
Of course you would love NFL Europa.
What's your fascination with that?
Well, I was young, first off. And then number two, I just like...
Were you a soccer first kid?
No, football was my first love.
Really?
Yeah, football was my first love. And then once I started going more and more to Columbia, that's when my family started putting it into me. But football was my first love.
Okay.
So I used to wake up on Saturdays, watch those NFL Europa games. Ride Fire, Hamburg,
the Ride Fire. Wow.
The Cologne Centurions.
I mean,
Frankfurt Galaxy.
I played soccer as a kid. I mean, I used to watch Soccer Made in Germany. Was the only thing we could watch. It'd be on PBS at
I don't remember that.
early in the mornings on Saturdays. But yeah,
Kurt Warner was
around.
We never played it. It was never like a thing growing up.
Soccer. I get it.
Hey, let me ask. I always like to ask you if you would ever do this. I mean, I know this answer, but I'm a little late with this story, but I found it fascinating. Somebody put out a billboard because he's having trouble dating.
I saw this too. It's good.
So he put a billboard up on I-95 out in West or 76 off
When
West.
you go on a date with Dave, date Dave Philly.
Dave fast facts. He can cook well. He has normal hobbies. He owns a cat, and he bought a billboard. This guy paid $1,300 for the month to put a billboard out. He got thousands of DMs sent to him.
Did he really?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Go for Dave.
Yeah, you consider that? It's
No, I wouldn't. But I mean,
So a fun little fact.
no, God bless Dave. No, listen.
No.
Like that's
He's just striking out on
Hey,
that.
by the way, what's the difference between an app and a billboard? Like, God bless. I think it's awesome.
A lot of men in China do that.
Really?
Yeah, because there's such a disparity between men and women. There's so many more women in China than men that it's harder to find, a partner. So a lot of wealthy guys.
If there's more women,
why would it be harder?
Yeah, if there's more women than men.
I mean, there's more men than women. Sorry, flip that. Flip that. There's more men than women, and so all the wealthy guys put up billboards to kind of advertise, hey, I make this much money. I own this kind of house. I have this kind of job. Find me, and we'll get married.
Really?
Yeah, and then a bunch of women will come. They'll meet them in this location, and it's almost like a job interview. They'll interview them to see if they're like a good partner.
Wow.
I saw this whole thing on Vice years ago about this.
Really?
It was really insane. Yeah.
Well, like a speed dating situation?
Speed dating almost, but it's only one guy, and there's 20 women.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So
wow.
he's just basically.
Yeah. And then he kind of, it's like I said, it's like a job interview almost. And then he decides, hey, I want you as my wife.
Funny part about Dave is that he had friends that contributed to helping pay for that.
Oh, he
billboard.
did?
Yeah.
Okay.
They contributed some money. He asked them.
I don't know if I'd give my buddy money for that.
I mean, God bless him.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hopefully find someone.
Yeah.
It's hard these days.
Did it work? I know he's got a lot
I
of.
don't know if he's got love, but he's
prospects.
got a lot of prospects. He's making the dating rounds, I think.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Good for Dave.
Yeah.
Yo, Dave. Shout out to
Shout out
Dave.
to Dave.
Give me yo.
Yeah, and a friend of our show, just a quick question. A friend of our show, Collegeville Nick, he last week, Trey Turner hit a home run, put the Phillies up 2-0 against the Nationals, I believe. And Nick put in a bet against the Phils.
Nicky?
Yeah, he put in the Nats plus 430.
No.
Yeah, and I'm not a fan of that.
No, not Nicky.
Yeah.
No,
That's
to
wrong,
me,
right?
the only
You cannot
time-
bet against your
No,
team.
the only time you can do that is if your team is really bad. Like, so you want them to lose, say, for the first
Yes,
pick.
yes.
Right? Like,
that makes sense.
Like, you want
the
them, like,
Sixers tank.
process.
Yeah.
Right.
And you can bet
And,
against them.
draft. Like, then you go against them because it's still, first of all, you know how bad they are. Second of all, it'll benefit the squad.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised.
Yeah, I was disappointed when he
Nicky's
sent me
a
a DM
straight
on
up,
that. Yeah, I was
straight up
disappointed.
guy, man.
I'm the wrong one to ask because I never bet on my teams. I never pick for fantasy sports. I never pick any of my players. I'm the worst one to ask about that.
No, that's good. How come?
It's just don't want to mix the fan with pleasure, right? Or we're with obviously
That's
gambling.
good.
I just don't like to
that's
mix
a
the
good way
two.
That's a good way to look at it.
Every fantasy draft stayed away from the Eagles. Sometimes it would
You
depend on
draft
the
a Cowboy?
Cowboys.
Would
It
you
would
draft a
depend.
Cowboy?
If I
See, I would think with fantasy, it's easier. They just pick your squad. I used to mess around like that all the time. I was in a league with 12
I've
cops,
been in leagues with you.
right? And I always pick a rare eagle. Like, just have fun with it. Because this way, it's fun.
Now, if CeeDee Lamb's available in the third round, I got to
I
take
never
him.
pick a Cowboy ever.
I
Ever. I've never taken a Cowboy in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
Never in your life?
Nope. Will not.
I don't take
I
Eagles.
respect that, man.
Will not.
That's great.
Yeah.
You don't take that?
No, I don't take that.
Yeah, I know. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, that's going to do it for us. Everybody, have a great day. We love you. We'll see you in the morning. Go Fightins.
We all silly like the mayor.